Heads.
What?
Heads. Heads. Heads.
How's that? A weaker man might be moved to re-examine his fate. If in nothing else, at least in the law of probability.
Heads.
Consider 1. Probability is a factor operating
Heads.
within natural forces. 2. Probability is not operating as a factor. 3. We are now held within sub, or supernatural forces.
What? Heads.
The law of averages, if I've got this right, means that if 6 monkeys were thrown up in the air for long enough, they'd come down on their tails about as often as they'd come down on their...
Heads. Getting a bit of a bore, isn't it? Must be a new record, I imagine.
Is that what you imagine, a new record?
Well, I could be wrong.
It must be the law of diminishing returns. I feel the spell about to be broken. Wasn't even chance.
Want to bet? Heads I win. I've never known anything like it.
He's never known anything like it. But then again, he has never known anything to write home about. Therefore, it is nothing to write home about. What's the first thing you remember?
Oh, I see. The first thing that comes into my head, you mean?
No, the first thing you remember.
Oh, I see. No, it's no good. It's gone. It was a long time ago.
You don't get my meaning. What's the first thing after all the things you've forgotten?
Oh, I see. I forgot my question.
Are you happy? Content, at ease?
I suppose so.
Well, what are you going to do now?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Do you remember the first thing that happened today?
Well, I woke up, I suppose. Oh, I've got it now. That man woke us up.
Messenger, yeah.
That's it. The pale sky before dawn. A man standing on his saddle to bang on the shutters. But then he called our names.
Rosencrantz, Guildenstern.
You remember? That man woke us up. We were sent for.
That's why we're here. Travelling.
It was a matter of extreme urgency. A royal summons. Official business, no questions asked. Saddle up and off we go, fearful lest we come too late.
Too late for what?
How should I know? We haven't got there yet.
What are we doing here, I asked myself.
You might well ask.
We'd better get on.
You might well think.
We'd better get on.
Right. On where?
Forward.
Which way do we, Which way did we...
Oh, I want to go home. Don't let them confuse you.
We're in over our steps. Heading out of depth. Stepping out of our heads. Oh, it's all heading to a dead stop!
There. Hasn't it ever happened to you that all of a sudden, for no reason at all, you haven't the faintest idea of how to spell the word witch? Or house? Because when you write it down, you simply can't remember ever having seen the letters in that order before.
I remember.
Yes.
I remember when there were no questions.
There were always questions.
Answers, yes, there were answers to everything.
You've forgotten.
I haven't forgotten! How I used to remember my own name and yours. Oh, yes. There were answers everywhere you looked. There was no question about it. People knew who we were, and if they didn't, we told them. My name was Guildenstern, and this is Rosencrantz. I'm sorry. His name is Guildenstern, and I'm Rosencrantz.
We did tell them. The trouble is, each of them is plausible without being instinctive.
Well, I can tell you now, I'm sick to death of it. I don't care which one I am, so why don't you make up your mind?
We didn't come all this way for a christening. But we are comparatively fortunate. At least we're presented with alternatives.
Well, as from now, my name is...
But not choice!
Fancy a game?
We're spectators.
Do you want to play questions?
How'd you play that?
You have to ask questions.
Statement 1 love.
Cheating.
How?
And started yet?
Statement 2 love.
Are you counting that?
What?
Are you counting that?
How? No repetition, 3 love game.
I'm not going to play if you're going to be like that.
Who's serve? Hesitation, love 1.
Who's go?
Why?
Why not?
What for?
Damn foul! No synonyms. What all?
What in God's name's going on?
Foul, no rhetoric. 2-1.
What does it all add up to?
Can't you guess?
Were you addressing me?
Is there anyone else?
Who?
How would I know?
Why'd you ask?
Are you serious?
Was that rhetoric?
No.
Statement 2 or game point?
What's the matter with you today?
When?
What?
Are you deaf?
Am I dead?
Yes or no?
Is there a choice?
Is there a God?
Well, no non-sequiturs. 3, 2, 1, game all.
What's your name?
What's yours?
You first.
Statement 1, love.
Oh. What's your name when you're at home?
What's yours?
When I'm at home?
It's a different home.
What home?
Haven't got one.
Why do you ask?
What are you driving at?
What's your name?
A repetition of 2 love. Match points.
Who do you think you are?
Rhetoric, game, and match.
Rosencrantz.
What?
Guildenstern.
What?
Don't you discriminate at all?
This is interesting. You would think that this would fall faster than this, wouldn't you? And you'd be absolutely right.
Leave things alone.
Heads. But why were we summoned here? What have we got to go on?
Hamlet's transformation. What do you recollect?
Well, he's changed, hasn't he?
I could see that. Gleam afflicts him.
Me?
Him.
How?
Question and answer. You question, I'll answer.
He's not himself, you know.
I'm him, you see.
And who am I then?
You're yourself.
And he's you?
Not a bit of it.
Are you afflicted?
That's the idea. Are you ready?
How should I begin?
Address me.
My dear Guildenstern.
You've forgotten, haven't you?
My dear Rosencrantz.
I don't think you quite understand. What we're attempting here is a hypothesis in which I answer for him while you ask me questions. Ready?
What?
You stupid.
Pardon?
You deaf.
Did you speak?
Not now.
Statement.
Not now! Is that southerly?
We came from roughly south. Which way's that?
In the morning, the sun would be easterly. I think we can assume that.
That it's morning?
If it is, for instance, and the sun is over there, then that would be northerly. On the other hand, if it's not morning and the sun is over there, that would still be northerly. To put it another way, if we came from down there and it's morning, then the sun would be up there. But if it's actually over there and it's still morning, then we must have come from back there. And if that's southerly and the sun is really over there, then it's the afternoon. However, if none of these are the case...
Why don't you go and have a look?
Pragmatism, is that what you have to offer?
I I merely suggest that the position of the sun, if it is out, would give you a rough idea of the time. Alternatively, a clock, if it is going, would give you a rough idea of the position of the sun. I forget which you are trying to establish.
I'm trying to establish the direction of the wind.
There isn't any wind. Before, you mean you pretend to be him, and I ask you questions.
Very good.
You had me confused.
You'd see I had.
How should I begin?
Address me.
My honoured lord.
My dear Rosencrantz.
Am I pretending to be you then?
Certainly not. But if you like, can we continue?
My honoured lord.
My dear fellow.
How are you?
Afflicted.
Really? In what way?
Transformed.
Inside or out? Both. I see. Not much new there then.
We'll go into details. Delve. Probe the background. Establish the situation.
So, your uncle's the King of Denmark?
That's right. And my father before him.
His father before him?
No, my father before him.
But surely.
You may well ask.
Let me get this straight. Your father was king, you were his heir, your father dies and your uncle becomes king.
Yes.
Unusual.
Undid me.
Undeniably.
He slipped in.
Which reminds me,
Well, it would.
I don't want to be personal.
Common knowledge.
Your mother's marriage.
He slipped in.
His body was still warm.
That was hers.
It's extraordinary.
Indecent. Hasty. Suspicious.
Makes you think.
Don't think I haven't.
With her husband's brother.
They were close.
She went to him.
Too close.
For comfort.
It's bad.
Adds up.
Incest to adultery.
Would you go so far?
Never.
To sum up. Your father, whom you loved, died. You come back to find that hardly was the corpse cold before his young brother popped onto his throne and into his sheets, thereby fending both legal and actual practice. Now, why exactly are you behaving in this extraordinary manner?
I can't imagine. And yet we were sent for. And we did come. I think I have it. A man talking sense to himself is no madder than a man talking nonsense not to himself.
Or just as mad.
Or just as mad.
And he does both.
So there you are.
Stark raving sane. Why?
Oh, why?
Exactly.
Exactly what?
Exactly why?
Exactly why what?
What?
Why?
Why what exactly?
Why is he mad?
I don't know!
The old man thinks he's in love with his daughter.
Oh, good God, we're out of our depth here.
No, he hasn't got a daughter. The old man thinks he's in love with his daughter.
The old man is. Shouldn't we be doing something constructive?
What did you have in mind? A short, blunt human pyramid?
Do you ever think of yourself as actually dead? Lying in a box with a lid on it?
No.
Nor do I, really. It's silly to be depressed by it. I mean, one thinks of it as like being alive in a box. One keeps forgetting to take into account the fact that one is dead. Which should make all the difference. Shouldn't it? I mean, you'd never know you were in a box, would you? It'd be just like being asleep in a box. Not that I'd like to sleep in a box, mind you. Not without any air. You'd wake up dead for a start, and then where would you be? In a box. That's the bit I don't like, frankly. That's why I don't think of it. Because you'd be helpless, wouldn't you? Stuffed in a box like that. I mean, you'd be in there forever. Even taking into account the fact that you're dead. It isn't a pleasant thought. Especially if you're dead, really. Ask yourself, if I asked you straight off, I'm going to stuff you in this box now, would you prefer to be alive or dead? Naturally, you prefer to be alive. Life in a box is better than no life at all, I expect. You'd have a chance, at least. You could lie there thinking, well, at least I'm not dead. In a minute, someone's going to bang on the lid and tell me to come out. Hi, you. What's your name? Come out of there.
I think I'm going to kill you.
I wouldn't think about it if I were you. You'd only get depressed. That must be yeast then. I think we can assume that.
I'm assuming nothing. Is that you?
I don't know.
It's you.
We're not finished yet then,
Oh, we're here, aren't we?
are we? I can't see a thing. Dark, isn't it?
Not for night.
No, not for night.
It's dark for day.
Oh yes, it's dark for day. We're on a boat.
I know.
Well, what now?
What do you mean?
Well, nothing's happening.
We're on a boat.
I'm aware of that. Do you think death could possibly be a boat?
No. Death is not. Death isn't. Take my meaning? Death is the ultimate negative, not being. You can't not be on a boat.
I've frequently not been on boats.
No, what you've been is not on boats.
We might as well be dead. I could jump over the side. That'll put a spoke in their wheel.
Unless they're counting on it.
I shall remain on board. That'll put a spoke in their wheel. But we've got nothing to go on. We're out on our own.
We're on our way to England. We're taking Hamlet there. What for? What for? Where have you been?
What are we going to say?
We've got a letter. Do you remember the letter?
Do I?
Everything is explained in the letter.
So we've got a letter that explains everything.
You've got it.
I thought you had it.
I do have it.
You have it?
You've got it.
I don't get it.
You haven't got it.
I just said that.
I've got it.
Oh, I've got it.
Shut up!
Right. What a shambles. I mean, we're just not getting anywhere. Not even England. And I don't believe in it anyway.
In what?
England.
Just a conspiracy of cartographers then.
I mean, I don't believe it. What are we going to say?
We say, Your Majesty, we have arrived.
And who are you?
We are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Never heard of you.
Well, we're no one special.
What's your game?
We have our instructions.
First I've heard of it.
Let me finish. We've come from Denmark.
What do you want?
Nothing, we're delivering Hamlet.
Who's he?
You've heard of him.
Oh, I've heard of him, all right, and I want nothing to do with him. You march in here without so much as a by your leave and expect me to take in every lunatic you try to pass off with a lot of unsubstantiated...
We have a letter.
I see. Well, this seems to support your story, such as it is. It is in exact command from the King of Denmark for several different reasons, importing Denmark's help and England's too. That on the reading of this letter, without delay, I should have Hamlet's head cut off. We're his friends.
How do you know?
From our young days, brought up with him.
I've only got their word for it.
That's what we depend on.
All in all, I think we'd be well advised to leave well alone.
But what's the point?
Don't apply logic.
He's done nothing to us.
Or justice.
It's awful.
Could have been worse.
I'm assuming nothing. It doesn't sound very plausible.
If we did come face to face, what would we say?
We say, my lord, we have arrived.
And who are you?
We are Guildenstern and Rosencrantz.
Which is which?
Well, I'm your...
What about?
We've got a letter.
As England is Denmark's faithful tributary, etc. So on the knowing of this contents without delay of any kind, should I have those bearers, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, be put to sudden death? Where we went wrong was getting on a boat.
They had it in for us, didn't they? Right from the beginning.
Why? I mean, who are we that so much should converge on our little deaths? Who are we?
Rosencrantz, Guildenstern.
That's it then, is it? Not that it makes much difference. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't harm anyone, did we?
Don't remember.
All right then. I don't care. To tell you the truth, I'm relieved.
There must have been a moment. Somewhere in the beginning where we could have said no. Somehow we missed it. We'll know better next time.
The sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. He is the senseless that should give us hearing, to tell them that his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.